I think a week ago. I've been meaning to reply to some emails, but I haven't gotten around to every single one of them. I try to answer all of them as soon as I can, but I remember getting a question, like at least similar to this in an email. So, but no, it's everything's just going to be on the site. And if it's like if a game's on Steam and you click on the Windows icon, it would redirect you to Steam or the Epic Game Store and whatnot. So, depending on the platform that you're looking for, each icon will eventually be clickable once the page is up on those platforms. I do recall talking about what other engines I've used, because I used the first game engine I used was the original Games Factory 2. I want to say, I could be wrong. It's not Games Factory Studio. That was like the new name for it, but it was one of the original Games Factory 2 or 3, way back in 2000, like late 2009 to early 2010. I made some really shitty Mario games. Really shitty Mario games. They were fun, but they were broken as fuck. And then I did Games Factory 2 in 2013, and I didn't actually utilize it until 2014. And then it was Fusion 2.5. And then afterwards it was Unreal Engine. So... and eventually we did Unity. So I guess I pretty much dipped my toes in a variety of engines at this point in time. So out of all the games on the website, I've noticed that Tigris Mania is on hold. Are you going to work on it when The Road That Falls releases? Yes, that is the plan. Because right now we're tied. We already have a bunch of projects that were in the works. Like Prime has his project. I'm helping him out with that one. I'm not like directly involved, but I am like kind of executive producer role on it. So I kind of like overlook the projects and give feedback and kind of help pave the way. But I'm not like directly involved in like the actual development process in terms of like graphics or models or anything. That same goes for Colin's games. It's I'm involved in those as well, so I'm helping pave the way. Which is why initially Colin's games changed drastically over time, because it was initially just a remake of the original. I told him, okay, if this is going to be like like an associate partnership thing, we're going to have to make some changes and completely flip the formula on its head and not do what the original did and make it almost like its own game. So that's why it looks visually so different. And the game itself, I can't speak much on it, but when we were going over it every now and then, whenever we do talk about it, it is very, very different game. It's really, really cool. Like, I can't wait for you guys to see that one too. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Then we have, of course, Mad Mind. I remember talking about that for the past few years, saying that eventually that is on my to-do list, but we will get to Mad Mind eventually. We finally got to Mad Mind, so that's pretty exciting stuff. That's doing excellent. So it's... The Road That Falls is doing relatively well as well, but that game is going a lot slower than the rest of the games, since that game is really large in scale. So that game's going to take a bit more time. So I think in terms of projects being released, Tigris Mania is going to be a bit farther in the future than I would hope. So it's only time will tell. Do you still have all your deleted videos? No, I actually permanently deleted all of those. I I don't keep those. The only videos that I do keep, though, are the ones that are from the at least dating from late 2016, I think. No, early 2017. Yeah, everything dating before that, it's wiped. It's gone. So. Are you still voice acting for Desolation? I am, actually. So that was actually really fun to do. So I haven't actually done that kind of work in a long time, and it kind of sucked to start off with because it was terribly bad. But after after I think it took like months to get them finished because there's so many outtakes, and finally it went on the direction that I wanted it to go. So they went after months of trial and error. We're happy with what we got. Are they actually coming to consoles? In terms of original projects, yes. Desolation and Collins games, unfortunately not, because of the legality behind that. We can't do that. We legally can't do that. So it's unfortunate. We would love to see it on those platforms, but it's probably not going to happen. So we'll see. Stranger things have happened, so it's only time will tell. Yeah, they're going to be a timed exclusive. So it's going to start on PlayStation for the first year, and then after that year is up, it's going to be on PC and Switch. So. Are there any plans for the future of expanding Kriya Studios, like introducing more developers into the studio? We've talked about that actually several times. There's been occasions where that topic would be brought up whenever we have our meetings, like our group calls in the Discord server, and we have talked about that. And I think we're all pretty comfortable with how things are right now, since we're really confident and really happy and very comfortable with the amount of people that we have. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's familiar with each other's work ethics. Everybody's very, very collaborative and there's a lot of communication that's involved. So it's a lot of fun. We kind of want to keep it. We don't want to branch off into some big corporate entity or branch off into other studios. We want to just keep things compact. So. Road on the Switch sounds like a fever dream. It really does. It really does. Brian and I actually talked about that because we're like, it's probably going to be the hardest thing to port over is on the Switch. I can't talk about what's actually in the game or how it's going to be done because they delve into spoiler territory. You'll see whenever the trailer's ready or whenever we have enough footage to produce a trailer. You'll see what we're talking. You'll see what I'm talking about when I say it's going to be very difficult porting it to the Switch. Because as we go along with developing The Road That Falls through 2017 to present day, it's been very difficult compressing each and every file, like textures, sounds, models, as much as we possibly can without it affecting the graphic fidelity of it or even just the overall gameplay. So we do the very best we can without fucking something up, pretty much. So. But yeah, we've been playing with the idea of it being on Switch, and I think we're at the point where we're like, okay, we like where it's going so far. I feel like we're a little cautiously confident. We're cautiously optimistic about it. So, but we'll see. plans may change where it may not end up being on Switch because of technical limitations, but we'll see. Have I ever made any original games? No, not really. Other than fan games. So I suppose Tier 5 was going to be it could have been something original, but unfortunately I tied it to Tier 1 through 4. So in terms of telling a broader story that doesn't involve robotic furries trying to kill you, doesn't really make a compelling story. So something had to go if I wanted to make at least an original project. Which is why Volume 2, at least one of the many reasons why that was cancelled. So it drifted too far from the fan game tropes that it could be its own thing. So, have I ever played Roblox? No, I have not. What's my opinion on Hot Wheels? To be honest, I completely forgot Hot Wheels was a thing. I haven't played Hot Wheels since I was a wee lad, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I knew. Is the road that follows the style of a game like Outlast Amnesia? No, it's very different. So I've emphasized this a lot with the team. Whenever we do projects, we try to not make it like every other game. We want to at least try to explore. Maybe just music real quick. I've emphasized this a lot with the team for the past few years, that whenever we do projects, like original projects and whatnot, and even the fan game stuff, like Colin's projects or Desolation, to at least drift it as far away from trends and the norm of what you'd expect out of a fan game or like modern games in general, to at least introduce something fresh and something that you don't see often in the game industry. So we want to explore like unknown territory and take these risks. And it may fail, it may succeed, but in the end, I try to emphasize with the team, as long as they're happy with your product and what you've made, that should be the only thing that matters. It's as long as you're proud of what you've created, it should be fine. So. Have I ever considered going back to Tier 5 at some point? No. No. We have jokingly talked about that every now and then. I know Sean has brought that up as a joke several times, and yeah, I'm not touching that. It not to say it wasn't fun to make. That was probably the most fun I had making a Tier TF game since the FNAF 3 fan game, because that game I just made for fun, wasn't meant to be taken seriously. And Tier 5 was the first time in a long time that I actually did something remotely different that nobody was exploring with FNAF fan game, at least at the time. And that was something that I think it's the exploring the unknown or unknown territories is what really brought it like a great thrill with game development. It was like, oh, finally something new. I wasn't chasing my own tail or doing the same shit every game. So yeah, that was exciting. As fun as it was making it, it was a pain in the ass to make, and I don't ever plan on going back to that, because that would basically be me breaking my own rule of thumb, because I have emphasized that I'm not doing fan games ever again. I don't mind mentoring and like at least changing the form, like what I'm doing for Brian's or Colin's games. I don't mind doing that, like outside the scope of development, but I will not actually get involved in fan game stuff. What are you going to post on TikTok? I actually got this question on an email. Oh, I've been out of it for too long. Rest in peace. I actually got the question on one of the emails we got last, I think, a couple weeks ago. I don't think I've gotten around to answering that email. There's still a few emails I have to answer, but essentially, TikTok is not going to be like a place where we're going to be posting like trendy shit. I refuse to stoop to that level. It's basically a platform where we're going to be throwing ads. Like, it's just pretty much standard marketing. Like, oh, go check out our new shirts. They're on sale now. And it leads you straight to the website. Or like a little snippet of a trailer. For instance, like, let's just say as an example, like the Desolation trailer. There'll be like a little snippet of like some exciting stuff without spoiling anything on TikTok, but then it says like, oh, watch the full trailer online and it'll link you to the website. So it's like, if you want to see more, if that gets you excited, just wait to see the full trailer on their website. It's just a way to generate more foot traffic on the website so that people can be able to be encouraged to check that out more. So it's just a place for ads. That's all TikTok is for. At least as far as what we're using it for. It's just for ads. And if we have shirts that are back in stock or some merch that we're working on, and we've been working on quite a few ideas. Like, some ideas didn't actually make the final cutting. Like, it didn't make the final cut in terms of like some merchandise ideas, but there's quite a few ideas that we think would be pretty cool that you guys would really like. So we can't really talk about that until it's time to actually show them. But yeah, whenever we get around to actually doing merchandise, which we'll worry about that later. That's our main focus right now, the projects. We'll advertise it on TikTok. Am I actually working on 18 games? I wouldn't say working on 18 games. We have 18 games that are going to be worked on, if that makes sense. We're working on quite a few projects already, and working on 18 games is a lot of work. We're already so caught up in a lot of projects on our plate already. That in of itself is a lot of work. The ones that say that they're in production, those are the ones that we're working on currently. The ones that haven't been announced yet on the site have not started production yet. Whenever it comes time to announce them, we'll announce them. We'll get around to it. So, but everything that we've shown so far is what we're working on, except for Tica's Mania. That's on hold. And Colin's Tier 3 is announced, but it's not in development yet. So we'll get around to it. Are games like Road and Mad Mine going to be free, or do you have to pay for those games? Those games are going to be paid for. Yeah, the Road That Falls is way too ambitious and large to be free. There's way too much hard work and effort that went into that game, so that's going to be put up for sale on Steam and whatnot. So I've also talked about pricing with the team. I even said, like, let's not put anything above $20. Let's just keep it 20 and below. That's it. I feel like that in and of itself would kind of increase sales, especially with like the larger scale games. Something that large in scale for only $20 is quite a steal. So it kind of encourage people to hopefully purchase the game and try it out. So if they don't like it, they can refund the game. So it's fine. Don't know if you can answer this. It may be a spoiler territory, but seeing as how Sloth seems to be an original game now, will it be related to the Road That Falls V, or will it tell it be its own thing? I can't answer that. In terms of the stories that we have in store for exploring in our games and other various content, we can't talk about what's connected to what and everything, because it'll spoil a lot of surprises that we have in store. So there's a lot of surprises coming along the way. Can I show anything from the games you're working on? No, none of us are allowed to show anything. we only kind of work behind closed doors and curtains, but when there is something to show, we'll show it. As of right now, though, we're not allowed to show anything. So, because our what we aim to do is just to like shock people with, like, ta-da, we have there's a trailer out and it has a lot of footage, like that kind of stuff. So instead of actually just gradually showing people over time, I feel like it'd be problematic, and it leaves room for people to have their expectations already filled, pretty much. We want to basically, hopefully, exceed expectations with that, wow factor. So, is The Road That Falls be a sequel to Road? I can't answer that either. So, I remember somebody asking in an email what's the difference between the two of them, and I, without spoiling anything, I said that although they do have the same title, their parallels are more of a form of deja vu than anything else. It's not. I can't answer whether it's a sequel or prequel or what it is, but it is very much like deja vu. Gameplay, though, is very, very different. So, and the story as well. Story, gameplay, drastically different from one another. But there are going to be parallels. Do you think that there will be any trailers this year? Not for The Road That Falls, I will tell you that. There's not going to be any trailers for The Road That Falls this year. There's a lot of work for that game that needs to be done. For Desolation, most likely, yes. We're almost finished with the new Desolation trailer, actually. Collins, Tier TF2, maybe. I can't make any promises. But as for, maybe for Collins Tier TF2, but for Desolation, most definitely there will be a Desolation trailer this year. In terms of making a promise on that, there may be delays. We're not sure, but we're almost finished with it, so we're confident that there will be a trailer this year for that. We have a few games in terms of engines that we're using. We have a few games that we're utilizing the ClickTeam engine. Of course, I'm sure everybody knows Desolation's one of them. Collins Tier TF projects are a few of them, to name a few. And there is one more that we're working on that utilizes ClickTeam. That, as far as my projects go, that we're making, but that's basically it. So, we did initially use the Unity engine originally for The Road That Falls back in early 2017 when it was called Operation Bigfoot. But we did, like, during development, made a really risky. We made a calculated risk with switching engines mid-development with The Road That Falls to Unreal Engine 4 back in mid-2018. So it's been a long process trying to reformat the code from C# to C++ from Unity to Unreal. So it's been a pain in the ass, but we're back on track. We've been back on track since we made the shift, since we shifted engines, and it's also been a lot better for us too. So, especially since we merged the UE4 project to UE5 when that fully came out. So we've been taking advantage of newer software. So it's been helping us a lot, speeding up development too. Yes, MadMind will be the last game that as far as my projects go, that will be the last one being utilizing the ClickTeam engine. So everything else is going to be using Unreal Engine from here on forward. in terms of to answer your question about what kind of merch we're kind of looking into, we're not exactly shirts for sure. Like basically like clothing. That's a definite yes. In terms of plushies or statues or figures, we're not sure. So we're still pitching ideas back and forth to one another. We have like a dedicated channel on our Discord server just about pitching ideas and everything. So we're still talking about those as well. So is there a chance that The World That Falls will be canceled? No, that's a definite no. Yeah, I refuse to have any other projects canceled, because the only projects that I did cancel in the past were Volume 2 of TRTF, and as far as memory goes, I could be wrong. That was the only one. Everything else has been either put on hold or currently in development. So, because of scheduling. So, no, The World That Falls there's no chance of it being canceled. We're all too stubborn and way too dead set on getting things done to cancel things. So. Do you ever plan on making Frankfurt its own original game? We have actually talked about that too. Probably not, but plans may change. We'll see. We don't know yet. So. TRTF, if only Volume 2 wasn't cancelled, what about TRTF Chapter 1? TRTF Chapter 1 is The World That Falls. That's Chapter 1. Why did I make the animatronic strippers for Frankfurt? So the initial idea for Frankfurt, at least at the time, was just a reestablishing an old property like Frankfurt's and using it as like a cover up, pretty much, like hidden in plain sight. And inside of it was basically a hidden underground criminal institution. So basically, like almost like the Cult of Allison or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't really make that much sense, but it was the thing that was floating around in terms of what me and one other guy was working on at the time. So. But we did want to explore like mature themes with the game, since nobody else wanted to do it, so we basically bit the bullet and we're like, all right, we'll do it. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting, but it'll be fun. So. A friend of mine and I are working on a video about the TRTF series. Would you be up to do an interview for the YouTube video sometime in the near future? Honestly, I'm actually kind of done with interviews, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm tired. So I've kind of been comfortable not doing interviews, because I've done so many in the past. I'm kind of sick of them, if I'm gonna be honest. So. Will Allison still be in The World That Falls? I can't answer that question. I can't answer any lore-related questions. I would love to, but it kind of ruined the surprise. But there's a lot of rebranding involved in terms of the whole shift from TRTF Chapter 1 to the revelation of it being the Road that Falls. It's been a long endeavor of a rebranding process. So long, stressful, tired. It's done.